Flames.
Well, something about us that, you know, because I work a fantastic selection and
Ripping.
Tape on that, say if this, we know we're not carrying an extra guard, we just double the guard.
So do you have a car here this year? Oh, fun.
British body basically. Ford V8 engine. I know. Oh, I get Is that standard equipment of bungee cord?
I mean, I just love these details, like these crazy cars, and then you just have this part that doesn't work, and you have to throw a rubber
I
thing.
had an XKE, so I know all about cars that don't work, or Lucas Electric Systems.
Yeah. I can say I like them better
like
for
they've
that.
Actually made it that way with those little connections there for it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a standard way for to hold the trunk closed?
Just on the race cars, they did that.
Oh, race cars. Okay.
Just a little backup, I guess.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So,
that
so
makes sense.
they were not expecting that to hold under racing conditions.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Imagine if you're racing and that trunk comes open, that'd be very ugly and noisy.
Yeah. Oh man, I love these ones.
Oh, look at they did all the cut the frame.
Then there's that, right?
He drove it up Highway 1 at 70. It says it didn't even blink.
I believe it.
452 cubic inches.
How much is that in liters?
Say what?
How much is that in liters?
Excuse me? How many liters is 452 cubic inches?
I don't know. I don't know how to convert liters.
Oh,
A
Let's
lot?
see.
I imagine, yes.
12 liters?
Okay, that would make sense.
That's just a guesstimate.
Yeah, yeah, because Americans used to always use inches. At some point, they moved to also to give you cubic liters, but I'm also only used to the metric. So
I suppose we could. Well, that's a curious thing.
Consult your pocket computer.
All right, let's try this. Inches to liters. Oh, I lied. 7.4.
it's a humongous engine. Oops.
Yep.
Let's see what's out here this year. I'm just a rock.
Because it never made it. Knowing this group.
Shoot the cars and I took him. You want
I can't imagine this thing ever had two people in it.
Yeah. Not like me, that's for sure. Or you.
Unless they are both very thin and they like each other very much.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, they're on their way. What do you need?
Oh, I was gonna check you in and get you all situated.
Oh, yep, they're on their way. So as soon as they get, well, as soon as they get here,
He's gonna hunt me down.
It was actually married by a woman.
So he's driving. Oh, just one day. Yeah, nice to meet you.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh no. Yeah, I can make a coffee. I know, I'm always at the
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry.
That's Thanksgiving, guys. Next week.
It's next to the awards for the best in Fairfield County.
About the 7th of sure.
Right. It's just up on a shelf. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, this guys really went the extra mile with a hood.
These are millions of dollars.
I've never actually used it.
He was so,
And, you know, like Saturday morning, outside.
maybe that's why it's considered.
Well, and what is that, a real?
I don't know. You know what? But it is cool.
No. So this is an action photo. This is reality.
You ran out of gas on that.
No. This is how we make sure it doesn't run out of gas. And it takes special gas.
How special is the gas it needs?
Higher octane.
Okay. But I mean, can it take unleaded?
Can't you hear it's running right now?
Can it take unleaded?
Well, this is unleaded. It's
Okay.
a 93 octane.
Okay.
because it's supercharged.
Uh-huh.
So
mostly premium gas, basically.
well, premium's 91.
Oh, right. I kept getting mixed it up with European.
Yeah.
This was extraordinary. It really is. I missed this walking through. It's just absolutely extraordinary.
So you got to put him there?
Yeah.
Well, I don't do that. I rub. I had to do this. I have no choice.
Is it okay coming in? This driveway?
And I sold him a car.
Nice.
Like the SLS.
Wednesday, Tuesday afternoon, all the interior lights went on.
Well, at least that has to do with the building, right?
Still. Turns back.
Modification of package 810, which was a double moon glow poly fenders and body with a English coat vermilion stripe, which is actually very close here. And for $60 additional, you could specify special colors, frame, sheet metal, body, paint. So we went with a modeled interior, which I have samples and pictures of an original car that had a very similar modeled interior like this. The light and the dark pick up the light and dark of that.
I mean, it's just spectacular. Part of the
we made, that's a dual windshield, so it rolls up. We made specialized components for these, which were from the factory. Most people finish these off with just an oval head screw and a French washer. These were actually designed by Chrysler. They were a two-piece construction, and they snapped onto a washer that had 6 prongs on it, so it would clean up the look of that. And we machined all of these in-house. We machined specialized hardware for, yeah, I'm getting there. Door handles, all of the hardware on the car, which has Dodge brother markings, owned by Dodge at this point in time, throughout the chassis, fenders, you name it, are all marked with Dodge brother heads that we all machined, stamped, and pad plated in-house. Even behind the dash, into what the colors were behind the instrument cluster, and I turned that instrument cluster myself. All of that is painted what the original, or plated what the original components were, even though you can't see them. That is so this has an automatic choke on it, and that was designed as a cutoff for the automatic choke. This has a coincidental starter, it has vacuum assisted clutch and brake, it has freewheeling on it that ran off of, basically used inertia and a bell inside a little housing on the other side, that this runs off of an insane vacuum system. So if you started to decelerate, depending on the level of freewheeling you had, it would bias the valve on this car to deliver assisted clutch, so you could shift out of gear into your lower gear when you're decelerating without having the clutch on it.
Tell me again the motor specs.
So this is a 388 cubic inch inline 8, making 135 horsepower. And it was an inline 8, it's making enough torque to pull a stump out. So
unbelievable.
I drove this a little above 70 miles an hour, and it runs like a top. It's straight and true, 146 inch chassis. It's about 22 feet long in total. Actually, it's a hair over.
So impressed. The work is unbelievable.
Thank you. Thank you.
Probably looks better than when it was new.
To be honest with you, since these were custom-built bodies. They were, you know, so they were referenced as factory semi-custom. They actually were extremely well done from the factory. Extremely well done.
So these were all one-off, basically.
They were, so they built 50 of these bodies, but they were built by LeBaron for Chrysler. So they were basically all hand-built by LeBaron for Chrysler, and they were really done to an extremely high level.
Yeah, well, I mean, each customer got exactly what they wanted.
So they had, you could order, yes, you could order what you wanted. They also had proscribed colors. Some were smoke gray. Actually, 14 of the 50 cars were delivered in smoke gray, for example. So it just depends on what you wanted. But for an additional $60, you could specify a custom color, chassis, you name it. So, and I have the 32 Salesman's Data Book that goes through and specifies what you can do to modify that. So, yeah, needless to say, I put the JD to good use researching these cars. This is, I wish this was more like being back in court. It would make research, make going up against the judges a lot better. But
great job, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't want anything
I think that was a circle. It always went in that circle. Backwards and forwards, like with the 300 SLs. My father had them used, in 1960, 67, 68 it started. But we sold them really, really cheaply over 20 years after, or 15 years after we bought them back. So it was completely backwards and forwards.
Well, we see you. I'll be at the Goodwood Revival. We'll be there.
It's automatic with this car, but there's a red light that lights up on the dash. You need to wait for that red light to go out so the compressor is built up enough air pressure so you actually have brake.
So it's a hydraulic brake system, but it's boosted by compressed air. So it's like, it's air over hydraulic is what that is. So it's not a vacuum boost. It's
like
air.
what trucks use.
Yeah. So let's keep walking around. We can see some of the styling back here. So where does the exhaust actually dump out?
Under here, there's these square looking stuff.
Okay, so you got these styling cues there. Are these meant to resemble an afterburner or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
They're your reverse lights here.
Yeah, your reverse lights. Okay, turbine engine. What type of fuel?
So Chrysler said you could the most common fuel that the contestants used in 1963 was diesel. That was the easiest, most readily available that they could find. You could also run it off of JP4 or JP1, which is a kerosene that has more lubricity factors to it. That's what we use. You could use unleaded gasoline. They said to use it in small quantities, mixed in with something else. We highly recommend not using leaded gas, but if you really needed to, you could, but we really advise against it. The lead in the gas had some sort of problem with all the special alloys that Chrysler had created in the turbine engine.
Okay. Well, and I heard, was there some marketing stunts that they ran it off of alcohol? Or
yeah,
they ran
did.
It off Chanel No. 5.
Yeah, there was a rumor that one ran off of Chanel No. 5 in Paris, and then when one of these was in Mexico, somebody said, well, can we run it off tequila? So one of the Chrysler guys called Chrysler, and they said, can we run it off tequila? And they're like, well, I don't know. Well, we'll see. So a couple guys ran out to a liquor store, got some bottles of liquor, tequila, And they poured it in one of the test engines, and it ran. And they called back to Mexico, and yeah, it works. And so they tried it, and they were so pleased.
You just need some salt and lime, and away you go. But you know, that was also brings us. See, you know, the most readily available was diesel fuel.
Yep.
You know, some of the stories that I heard that in itself started to pose a problem, because in the '60s, you know, here, at least here in the U.S., most of the vehicles diesel were large, heavy-duty trucks. And so that was a different side of the gas station, and they were dirtier. So picture someone dressed up nicely in the stylistic car, and they're over in the remote fuel island putting diesel in there. And so, anyways, but what I imagine what it had to have been like to be driving along in your late 50s, early 60s, whatever, and then this just whips on by you. It just, yeah. But all right, well. This is really exciting, Seamus. So the last thing we'll talk about, you know, with the Hagerty Drivers Foundation, the National Historic Vehicle Register. This is one of this year's inductees to the National Historic Vehicle Register. So the second weekend of September, this car is going to be at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. on display as it's being documented as one of the most historically significant vehicles that's part of our America's automotive history.
Yeah, so if you're on the West Coast here and you have a chance to see the car here, great. But if you're on the East Coast and you want to see the car, like Jonathan said, you can come out to Washington, D.C. September 7th to 11th, I believe.
Absolutely. It'll be there. Seamus will be there.
I just want to see how much noise it makes. Last year they had a turbine racing car around, and that thing was so noisy.
I remember these.
Well, last year before the pandemic.
That's what I'm guessing.
Quick tip, you can actually take pictures by pressing on the volume down button.
On the what button?
On the volume down button. Yeah, like when your camera is out, you can just press here and it will take a picture, so it's normally a lot easier. The camera has to be, yeah,
activated. Oh yeah, you don't have to have it on the face.
I could set my coffee down.
Yeah. Sorry?
I could set my coffee down. First time in 12 years. Calm me down.
Your what, sir?
It's here?
It's on its way in the trailer.
Wow. I'm so excited.
Still got bits and pieces there.
First, Italian was a great We're going to walk this. Yeah. See you. I'm trying to think. They definitely have them in
Changes versus the one